My name is Kathy Jan Hagler, and I am 74 years old.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Herstory TV and the Herstory podcast. This is Gertrude Matcha here in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand, and I am graced with the presence of one of the most graceful women I have ever met. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Kathy Jan Hagler, and I am 74 years old and growing. I am based in Hendersonville, North Carolina, in the U.S. I'll just start out my story by saying that I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful to have had my own business for 40 years. It's a woman-owned business, and I'm very happy that I've been able to run it for 40 years. I'm a consultant, organizational consultant, and I've worked with all kinds of companies, oil companies, tech companies, museums, ballets, homeless shelters, all over the place, all nonprofit and nonprofits. And as I was running my business, it was 2:30 in the morning, about 6 days after September 11th, which was a really big day in the United States. And someone knocked at my door. 2:30 in the morning is kind of a hard time for somebody to knock at your door. So I go to the door, and it's a naval officer. And my life changed at that moment. He said, "Kathy, I'm very sorry to tell you that your son is dead. He was killed tonight in a car wreck in Norfolk, Virginia, on Navy base as they were just about to sail out. You don't know what you'll do." He was 19. And it was not that long afterwards that my husband also died. He couldn't deal with the stress. The news of our son's death and his stress, I'm positive caused cancer. And I do believe that cancer is stress related. So when it was discovered, he had stage 4 kidney cancer. And then shortly thereafter, I developed cancer and developed a breast cancer. And a year after that, they detected cranial metastasis in my brain. And basically, I decided that I wasn't going to let that happen. And I was going to rise above that. And I was going to try to be healed. And a really, really important thing happened to me. I saw a kintsugi vase online. And a kintsugi vase is one of those beautiful Japanese vases that's been broken and put back together with golden pieces, golden joinery. And when I saw this kintsugi vase, I thought, that's how you heal. What you do is you get a vision that you're broken, but that you can be unique and you can be different. And so from that kintsugi vase, I realized that even though I was broken, and even though my heart was broken and my soul was broken, I also knew that organizations were broken because I'd seen them for 40 years. And this vase was beautiful. It was filled in what they call golden joinery. And so what I said is, if it can be broken and put back together, then I can be put back together, and I can do that. And I can help organizations and other people put themselves back together and heal.
Wow. What an amazing story, and a very interesting perspective that you took on where you were and where you wanted to go. A lot of times when we are faced with these major life changes, the trauma that we go through, and you feel like you're just completely fragmented, I went through a separation after 27 years, a divorce. I ended up with congestive heart failure. A lot of our illnesses are manifestations of the emotional trauma that we go through, correct?
Yes, yes. Our subconscious, and this is what I try to work with people in companies about, our subconscious, which is the trauma and the fear in us, is really 95% of the way we respond to things. Our conscious mind is 5%. And unless we really allow that fear to come up, and unless we talk with people, and unless we share with people, and unless we become open and let that fear out, it will kill us. It
That's
will
very
kill us with
true.
heart failure, it'll kill us with cancer, but it'll be something that really does something to destroy us.
Mm, mm. So it's really important to get it out of your system, whether it means you go and work with a therapist, you talk to another family member. The holding in of that stress is what manifests in these so-called diseases, correct?
Oh, Gertrude, you couldn't say it better. I think there's really four things. Is the first thing that happens is you get a thought in yourself, like your mother passed away or my son was killed. You get that thought, it's in your subconscious, and then it changes into this feeling of heaviness on your heart. And once it's this heaviness in your heart and in your soul, what happens is you have an opportunity right then to choose. And that choice is you can go talk to somebody and you can say, Gertrude, I want to tell you that this is really, really hard. I want to talk to you about this and ask for some support. And once you say those words, it comes into your consciousness. And what happens is what it allows you to do, it allows you to then verbalize it. And once you verbalize it and you bring it out of that fearful place, then what you're able to do is you're able to work it through. But you can't work it through if you leave it down in your subconscious. It'll make you sick.
So your fight with cancer and you coming out on the other side of the C word, again, is another illustration of that. A lot of times when people are given the diagnosis, the first place they go to is fear. And once that sinks in, the people who come back from cancer and survive and those who don't is again a matter of your mindset, correct?
Oh, it's mindset. You can get stuck there. Once they said to me, you have cancer. I mean, that's the big C.
Yes.
That's the big C.
Yeah.
And the minute they said that, I mean, it's like the fear is that tomorrow is it. I mean, because that's how we feel, it's tomorrow is it, because I saw my husband go through it and it was
Yes.
awful. So what you have to do is you have to say, okay, that's my fears inside myself. Those are my feelings. Let me talk it out with someone. And I always love the saying that if you don't talk it out, you act it out.
Oh, yes.
So what you do is once you feel that, I'll go talk to you. See, I can call you and I can say, oh my, I just found this out. But then you can work with me to work this through, and I can put a plan together to say, I'm not going to let this destroy my life.
Yes.
And that's what I've done. And
Wow.
that's what I teach companies.
That is just amazing. So how long ago was it when you had your cancer diagnosis? How many years ago?
2.5 years, I'm still in remission.
Wonderful.
And
That is
so
so
I
good.
see the doctor every 3 months,
Yes.
and I go through a brain scan every 3 months. But
Okay.
I know that I'm going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing mindset. And I love the way that you have transferred that whole experience again into business, because it is the same thing, right? For most entrepreneurs, most business people, they get stuck.
They get stuck.
Mm,
And you know what I like to think about is there's a law of physics called the law of entropy, which says everything breaks. So if you just know right up front that everything breaks,
yes.
everything breaks. But then if you think of that Kintsugi vase and that
Yeah.
it can be healed. And
Yeah.
what I love about it is the golden joinery. It can be healed with gold and look better than it did before.
The beauty is actually in the imperfections.
It is.
Yeah. That's what makes it so unique.
It is.
That is
You know,
wonderful.
When I was a little girl, my first cancer was at 6 years old.
Oh, wow. So this is the second time.
It's the second, and I had it on my arm, and I had a big scar on my arm, and I was
Right.
so embarrassed that I would wear all these sweaters, and because I was imperfect, And then
Yeah.
finally somebody said to me, wow, that's like a runner. So you've got like a runner. And I said, so then I started charging people a penny to see it.
You were an entrepreneur at a very early age.
So, what you do, if you're unique, it's
Yes.
okay to be broken.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I've always looked at is I got lots of scars. I counted the other day, I have 39 scars.
Oh, I love it.
But that's okay. I'm different.
Yeah. So if you were to go back to the younger you a few years ago when we got the second diagnosis that you have cancer, and you could have a conversation with that woman and give her 3 nuggets of advice, what would you say to her?
3 nuggets of advice. Well, I call the younger me Kathy Jan. That's my middle name because that's what my daddy used to call me when I was in trouble. Kathy Jan.
Okay.
So I'd go back to Kathy Jan and I would say, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Everything is going to change and you are going to break, but you can heal and you're going to be beautiful when you heal. So first I would tell her that. I would tell her not to be afraid. And then I would tell her to be confident. And I would also tell her that it's a good thing to be alive. It's a good thing to be alive, and it's a good thing to be a woman. It's a
I
good
love
thing
that.
to be a woman. My daddy always said, you got to major in math, Kathy Jan. And I said, well, little girls don't major in math. And he said, but you do. And so I said, okay. And I did. And it's made a huge difference for me. I just realized I was a little girl, but we're good. Little girls are good. I would tell my younger self that little girls are good.
I love that. I absolutely love it. And I can feel your celebration of life and being alive. Sometimes we just have to wake up and focus on the things that we are grateful for. The fact that you can look outside and see, the fact that you can drink a glass of water and taste, the fact that you can breathe. We have to start with the small acts of gratitude before we think about the big things when we're faced with these storms. And the other thing that you said that's really important is that the only constant in life is change.
It
Nothing
is.
stays the same.
No. And somehow, Gertrude, we're told that somehow we get in our mind that we should think that everything is going to stay the same.
Yeah.
But if I could tell the little Kathy that, it would be, that's good. It's good to grow, having a growth mindset and good to grow and change. And, I never thought when I was 6 years old that I would be here at 74, but I'm very fortunate to be alive. I'm very fortunate to be here. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Absolutely wonderful. So let's finish our interview with me taking you into the future for a few minutes.
Okay.
So if time was an illusion and at the rate you're going to live to 120 with science and your attitude. If you could have a conversation with the future you, that amazing woman who hits that age, and you look back at your life, based on how you're living life right now, what would you say to the older you?
Every morning when you get up, look around, be grateful for your gifts, be grateful for the love in your life, be grateful for your friends, and just be grateful and graceful. But more than anything else, I believe that what rules everything for me is be loving and kind to every living thing, because life is really beautiful. Whether you're a flea, or whether you're a human being. I believe living is beautiful, and I want to be loving and kind to everything until I'm 120.
I love that. I love that. I met a very interesting young man when I lived in New Mexico. He was
That's where I'm
quadruple.
from.
Are you? I lived in Albuquerque.
Do you know where Clovis is?
Yes, I do.
That's where I'm from.
I lived in Nob Hill, lecturing at the University of New Mexico.
I know where that is.
It's one of my most favorite places in the world.
It's
It
beautiful.
reminded me of Africa. It was the blue sky
Isn't
and
it
that
gorgeous?
red earth and the sunsets. Oh, you're from New Mexico. What a beautiful coincidence. I
I
have
know.
beautiful memories of New Mexico. And
I was born there and lived there and spent a lot of time in Albuquerque. I love Albuquerque. There's a song that you should listen to if you can find it. It's called "The Lights of Albuquerque."
the lights of, I will look for that. That's
And
good.
it didn't get very popular, but when you hear it, you'll
Uh-huh.
know, because going over that mountain at night, come
Yes.
down into Albuquerque and you see all those lights. Remember how beautiful that is?
Uh, I have very, very fond memories of Albuquerque.
So
It was
cool.
a very special time in my life, and I was working on a documentary of a young man who was quadriplegic. So he was born with no arms, no legs. He could only move his wheelchair with the back of his head. He was a musician. And I said to him in one of my questions, so what keeps you going? Where do you get this positivity from? And he said to me, Gertrude, life is beautiful if you know where to look.
Mhm.
It completely changed my whole perspective. Looking at his life, you would think he had nothing going for him. And still, despite his disability, despite all of his medical challenges, just one of the most incredible young men I have ever met.
So
So,
think of him as a kintsugi vase.
yes.
So I took a lesson on how to make kintsugi because I wanted to
Okay.
know what it felt like. I found a kintsugi artist. She taught me how. So I broke the vase, I cleaned the pieces, I filled it in with gold. But what you find is this process of being broken and then coming together and joining together and then being unique. And so this young man he's saying, I'm me, I'm unique, and I'm
Yes.
beautiful.
And it's interesting because when I interviewed his mom and his dad, as he was coming down his mother's birth canal, all of his bones broke. This baby was born with fractures. So he had a certain genetic disease in his bones. He was in a cast for the first 6 months of his life. And just the most beautiful human being I've ever met, amazing musician. And now this little synchronistic connection with you coming from New Mexico. How beautiful is
And by
that?
the way, I'm a musician.
You are.
I'm a
Oh, I
piano,
love this. What do you play?
the piano.
Oh my gosh.
I started teaching lessons at 12
Okay.
in Clovis
Wow.
because my mother and dad said, you've just got, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
I was very poor. My dad only went to school through the 6th grade. And he said, you've got to get out of the mud, Kathy Jan, which means you've got to keep going to school, going to school. So
Yes.
he wanted me to major in math and mother wanted me to major in piano. So I majored in both.
I love your parents. Do you want to finish off our interview and play us something?
Oh, I can't right now. My piano's not working.
Oh, what a pity.
But you know what? I'll send you a tape of me playing something.
Please do.
I
Please do.
will.
That would be awesome.
I will love that. I would love to do that.
Thank you so much, Kathy. This has been an inspiring interview. I never know what I'm going to get, and that's why I don't prepare people for my interviews. I want to be surprised with all of these beautiful stories every day.
Well,
So
this is
thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much. Will you ever be coming back to Albuquerque?
I dream so. I want to come back someday and just reminisce. I was actually managing a ranch just outside of Santa Fe. I got so many beautiful opportunities while I was there. I worked with the Navajo women on the reservations. We had a project called Cultivating Coders, and we were teaching Navajo women how to code apps, make websites. I remember New Mexico with such fond memories because
That's
I was
wonderful.
broken. It was soon after my divorce. I
Oh.
left New Zealand, traveled for almost 2 years, and ended up in Albuquerque. So
Well, if you
very,
come
very
back,
fond memories.
if you come back, you have to call me and I'll meet you in Albuquerque.
I will, I will, Kathy. Thank you so much. And thank you to
Thank you.
everybody who's tuned in today.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much.
magical interview. Come back again tomorrow, everybody. I'll be talking to yet another amazing woman from a different part of the world, probably. But have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.